This is a question from Alex. What if the atmosphere became toxic?
Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that every breath of air could harm or even kill you. The very thing that makes life possible, our atmosphere, has turned hostile.
First, let's define what toxic means here. It could be a sudden spike in poisonous gases like carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, or hydrogen sulfide.
Or a gradual increase of oxygen-depleting compounds, or even new chemical contaminants from industrial processes. Whatever the cause, breathing becomes dangerous, even lethal, for humans and most animals.
Immediate effects on humans would be catastrophic. People would start to experience dizziness, nausea, headaches, and eventually suffocation.
Without masks or sealed environments, survival time could be measured in minutes to hours. Outdoor life would be impossible, and even indoor spaces would need constant air filtration.
Animals would fare no better. Birds, mammals, insects all depend on breathable air. Many species would die quickly, leading to ecological collapse. Food chains would crumble as herbivores die first, followed by predators.
Plants, however, might survive longer depending on the type of toxicity. Some can absorb carbon dioxide or sulfur compounds, but many crops would fail. Agriculture would collapse, and global food shortages would follow. Human civilization would be forced underground or into sealed domes. Cities would need airtight habitats with oxygen supplies, water recycling, and waste management systems.
Travel between cities would be perilous unless vehicles are pressurized and fully sealed. Even then, resources would be limited, and survival would be a constant struggle. Industries would grind to a halt. Construction, transportation, and mining would become nearly impossible in open air.
Energy production might shift to enclosed nuclear or geothermal systems, as burning fossil fuels would only worsen air toxicity. Economies would collapse, and societies would have to rethink priorities: survival over growth.
The psychological impact on humans would be extreme. Fear of the air you breathe would create stress, paranoia, and anxiety.
Population movement would be restricted, creating overcrowding in safe zones and potential conflicts over resources.
Over time, Earth itself would change. Bodies of water might become contaminated as acidic gases dissolve into lakes and oceans. Weather patterns would shift as atmospheric chemistry changes, creating acid rain and extreme storms. The planet's natural cycles, carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen, would be disrupted.
Human adaptation would become key. Bioengineering could produce humans resistant to toxins, or we might rely entirely on mechanical life support systems.
Society would move from an open-world civilization to one confined in domes, tunnels, and controlled environments. We would become creatures of technology as much as biology.
In short, a toxic atmosphere would redefine life on Earth. The sky we take for granted would become a lethal barrier. Survival would demand innovation, caution, and a complete redesign of how humans live, work, and interact.
Life as we know it would end in the open air, and only those who adapt to sealed environments would endure. A toxic atmosphere would turn Earth into a planet where humans are prisoners of the very air that once sustained them.